How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And you know what time it is. It is time for the joke of the day. If you're new to this channel, we do this 5 days out of the week. Maybe you had a long, maybe you had a stressful day, or maybe it was the market conditions while you came to watch this video, plus hear one of my corny jokes. Here it comes. What do you call a rooster staring at a pile of lettuce? A chicken Caesar salad. Get it? Chicken Caesar salad. But anyways, what we're going to be talking about today is OCGN. It had quite the pullback inside of the market, and this is why I was talking about in my previous video. You want to make sure that you're patient with your entry so you're not in the middle of a falling knife. I'll talk about it further inside of this video. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know the resistance. We want to know what it looks like in a bearish case scenario and as well as in a bullish case scenario. This is very important. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest and as well as the recent institutional ownership. The reason why the short interest is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know what was the buying and as well as the selling behavior like on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for OCGN. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $9.63, being down 5.96%. On the low, it tested $9.31, and then on the high, testing $10.40. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 33.877 million shares, and then for the average volume over 10 trading days being at 105.291 million shares. So when you get this type of below average volume in OCGN, of course, you're going to end up seeing some selling pressure. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is the 1-year daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it is at 50.3. So right there in the middle. And then when we take a look at the moving averages on our chart, we have strength above the 100-day, the 200-day, the 50-day, but we are below the 21-day EMA. So what I was talking about in the previous video, we wanted to see OCGN be able to hold up at least the $9 level, and it was able to do this for today. You could see as far as where it tested on the low was right around $9.30, and taking into consideration the next area of support, if it decides to pull back further from this level, you'd want to keep an eye on will be right here around $9.16. They do have earnings that's going to be coming out on November the 9th, which is pretty much for tomorrow. So this can contribute to some more volatility. So if 9.16 breaks, then the next level of support I want to see hold up will be right here around this $8.78 level. If we end up getting some sort of a surprise through whether it's the business highlights or anything to go on with operations, then we can look forward to seeing a strong move to the upside, and I'd want to see us being able to get past this $10.40 area where we can possibly potentially make a move to where we might see some resistance around $11.11. This is the bullish case scenario here, but I believe as far as for OCGN is concerned, you just need to hold up the $9 level, and if you can't do that, we already know about the other levels that are there, and then we just gotta wait to see if we end up getting that EUA. So we're gonna take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for OCGN. So as we scroll down on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So you can see here for November the 8th being the most recent, we have Russell Investments Group Limited that went in with 31,776 shares. We also have Meter Asset Management that went in with just over 4,000 shares. We also have Charter Oak Capital Management that went in with 750 shares. And then I think we covered this this on November the 5th, we have Moores and Cabot with their 25,000, as well as Limbrook with their 64 shares. Now, when we take a look at the short interest, the dark pool short volume ratio is at 55.60%, and then for the dark pool short volume being just over 13.5 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 3.5 million, updated 23 minutes ago. And then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 2.36%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we can see for the close of the 4th, it was at 52.18, and then the close for Friday that just passed being at 55.60. So it'll be very interesting to see what the numbers will be later on in the evening, but one thing is for sure, OCGN does continue to have short squeeze potential. So now let's jump into the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for OCGN. So we can see here on the inflow is 57.27, and then on the outflow it was 73.45. So we had an outflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown, we had 0 on the large, 35.08 on the medium, and then on the small we had 22.19, and keep in mind this is in the millions. Now when we take a look at the outflow side on the large, it was 0.59, then on the medium it was 48.18, and then on the small it was 24.68. When we take a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for November the 8th, which is today, having that outflow day of 589.76. So when we take a look at the breakdown even further, you could see as far as for the small scale side, which is the retail side, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at what was going down on the medium, again, we had more selling as well, and we also did notice this on the large. Now, when we take a look at the turnover ratio, we could see that it is around 17.16%. So what this tells us right away, yes, there are many who are continuing to hold their shares of OCGN, which is great news, but we also do have a lot of selling coming from traders and so forth, and as well as people just exiting out of their positions. So this is one thing that you want to make sure you add to your homework and as well as your due diligence if you're going to be inside of this play. So now let's jump into the final thoughts, and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for OCGN, before we get started, I want to share the recent update that came out today. So we have brief. Ocugen Inc. announces submission of the investigational new drug application with the US FDA to initiate a phase 1 and 2 clinical trial evaluating gene therapy candidate OCU400 to treat inherited retinal degeneration. So this is definitely great news, because we know in the beginning this was Ocugen's focus before they started getting into the vaccine business, right? So this is one of the reasons why you want to do your homework, do your due diligence, and see what the potential looks like. And I feel it does look good. In regards to where the stock price is at currently, there's a lot of volatility due to the fact they do have earnings that is coming out. And of course, we saw there was so much attention inside of this stock last week. And with all of the news that is floating around, and on top of that, you have to wait for more updates, I would say you want to make sure that you're being patient and you have a strategy in regards to how you're going to be going about taking a position. And this is why I always say you want to wait for the price to stabilize, because the last thing that you want to do is be in the middle of a falling knife. Now, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, one thing that is clear, OCGN does continue to have short squeeze potential. So if we have a lot of buying pressure coming into the stock, then we can look forward to seeing some strong moves to the upside. But I really do believe, unless we end up getting that EUA for the 2 to 18 age group, that's going to be the catalyst to move this stock further, or maybe another update that we were not even expecting, which can help them in regards to the overall launch of covaxin as well. But we're just going to have to continue to be patient, see how these things unravel, and we're going to be keeping an eye on that earnings report to see how things go. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.